Hi and welcome back to Live Text. And in this tutorial we'll be learning about a very helpful function. It's the way in which you can actually share a portfolio with a viewer that doesn't have a live text account. And this is more likely the recipient of a portfolio that you've designed as part of a job seeking strategy. So let's say perhaps you've designed a portfolio and you'd like to apply for a job at Nationwide or at Columbia Gas or somewhere. So assuming that you've already created the portfolio, we're going to go ahead and we're going to create something called a visitor pass. Now this is a two-step process. In the first step you'll create a visitor pass name and then you'll link it to the portfolio you'd like to actually share with the external viewer. Now this is really helpful because you can create multiple portfolios and you can choose exactly which portfolio you share with whom, for how long, and then you can also see whether or not the portfolio has been viewed. So this is a really helpful feature in live text. So to create the visitor's pass, in the first step we'll go ahead and create the name of the recipient of the portfolio, and so that that person is known to live text. So I'll click on the Tools button and then go to the tab that says Visitor Passes. Now you can see I already have one visitor pass created for a company called Battelle in Columbus, but I'm going to go ahead and click New to give me an option to create a new visitor pass. Now I'm going to create this visitor pass for the HR department at Nationwide. So I'll be descriptive in my name. And if I want to, I can create a description for the name of that portfolio, perhaps saying the job I've applied for and so on. But for our purposes, I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And now I can see that my visitor pass has been created nationwide, but there are no portfolios currently associated with that visitor pass, and that's because I haven't actually shared the portfolio with the visitor's pass, and that's what I'm going to do in the second step. So now that I have my visitor pass name created, I need to remember the title that I gave it, and I can hop over to the portfolio that I would like to share. And I'm going to go ahead and share this one. I've obviously checked it carefully, made sure everything works correctly, checked my spelling, grammar, links, and everything is adhering to good practice. But now I'm going to go ahead and click on this share button. So obviously it's important that I've created the visitor pass name first, otherwise if I start looking for Nationwide, it wouldn't show up unless I'd already created it using the Visitor Pass tab. So I will click on the Nationwide Human Resources and click Add to Share. And what that has done, and you can see that in parentheses it has a visitor, which means that that portfolio has been associated with a Visitor Pass. That has now been created. And now if I go back over to my Tools area where I set up the Visitor Pass, and look in my Visitor Passes tab, I can now see that my Visitor Pass for Nationwide Human Resources has one portfolio, one document associated with it. And there's one other piece of useful information that I will need to know. To actually send this to a potential viewer, I need to be able to send that code to the viewer. So in an email, for example, or in a letter, you can copy and paste that code explaining how the person would need to go to livetext.com and then use that as a way of viewing your portfolio. Now I'll show you how that works in practice. If I copy that visitor pass set of characters, and that's unique, a unique combination of numbers and digits, and I'll go ahead and open a new tab and go to live text. And if you are sending this to a potential employer, you might want to take a screenshot of the screen so that you can tell them to go to use the visitor pass, and then you simply would invite them to use that code that you've copied and you would have to provide to them, and then click Visitor Pass Entry. And you'll see that they only have one option, they only have one portfolio that they can view, and that's the one that you've linked to that particular visitor pass. And if I click on it, that's what they will see. The portfolio that I've created and specifically associated with that visitor pass for Nationwide. And once they've taken a look at it and hopefully been very impressed, if you then go back into your live text account and you want to see who's viewed your portfolio, if you go into the Visitors Passes tab once someone has viewed it, you can go into the Visits option, and I can see that one person has viewed my portfolio. And this can be very helpful if you've sent a series of letters of application out and you provided the visitor's pass. You can actually see who has viewed the portfolio and who hasn't. So just to recap, to create a visitor pass, it's a two-step process. You go to Visitor's Pass, you click on New, you provide the name of the person who's going to receive the portfolio. In our example, I used Nationwide HR department. And then the second step is to associate a portfolio with that visitor's pass by using the share option, but instead of the name of a live text subscriber, you will type in the name of the visitor pass that you've created. And in my case, I chose Nationwide Resources, and add to share. And you know you've done it properly if you want to verify that everything is working as it should. All you need to do is to hop over to the Tools section, go to Visitor Passes, and make sure, and since I then added a second portfolio to that visitor pass, I now have two documents or two portfolios that I have shared with Nationwide. So that's a very helpful feature in live text. You can go ahead and share that once you are happy that you no longer want to share a portfolio with a particular recipient. You simply can go ahead and click on that particular user visitor pass, and you can delete it, and then the recipients will no longer have any access to that portfolio. So go ahead and experiment with using the visitor pass. You can send one to yourself, you can send one to friends and family. It's a great way of sharing videos or photographs with your friends and family in a very secure way. You can supply them with that visitor pass, or as part of a job hunting strategy,